Is she stupid? Asked Baron. How can she be so foolish? She is running a high temperature, complained Sue. She refused to eat or drink, and that worries me a lot. Okay, so Baron was surprised. Okay, nobody would believe that which when the last leaf fall, I would die. If someone say like this, that's totally stupid. And he was right. That was stupid. How can she be so foolish? There was no logic at all. Okay, but which is Sue could not say anything, and she said that which is she was running a high temperature, and she also complained that she refused to eat or she refused to drink. That's why she was very worried. She was concerned about her friend. No matter how much she tried, she was refusing to eat and drink, and there was no what should I say some kind of a energy or a motivation to live further. Okay, she was just waiting for her own death. So Sue was very worried. I will come with you and see Chauncey, Barham said. Okay, so you see, he was very concerned, he was very empathetic, he was a very kind, caring. Okay, he was also concerned. So what did he say? Okay, I will come with you and see Chauncey. So Barham wanted to see how Chauncey was doing. So what did they do? They tiptoed into the room. Chauncey was sleeping. Sue drew the curtains together and they went to the next room. She peeped out through the window. There was only one leaf on the creeper. It was raining heavily and an icy cold wind was blowing. It seemed as though the leaf would fall any minute now. Bearman did not say a word. He went back to his room. Okay, so Baram decided to go to what should I say, the Johnson's room to see how she was doing. So they both tiptoe into the room. Tiptoe means walk quietly because they did not want to disturb Chauncey. Okay, so Chauncey was sleeping that time. Sue drew the curtain together and they went to the next room. Okay, so Sue drew the curtain and then they went to the next room. She peeped out through the window. Now she was trying to look through the window and see how many leaves were there. She was worried. Why? Because her friend said that when the last leaf falls, she will also die. So she was worried. She just looked at the window. And how many leaves did she see? Yes, there was only one leaf on the creeper. No, it's a very, what should I say, worrisome time, isn't it? Only one leaf. If one leaf falls down, that means she's going to lose her friend. Okay. And on top of that, what was happening? It was raining heavily and the icy cold wind was blowing. It was raining and there was a icy cold wind blowing. So do you think there was a chance for that one leaf to stay long? It's very rare, isn't it? Because how long is that leaf going to survive this wind and the rain? Okay, yes. So it seemed as though the leaf would fall any minute. Yes, the leaf would fall any minute. If you look at which is the strength of the wind and the rain, it would fall down. So Balaam did not say any word. Balaam, he did not say any word. So after that, what did he do? He just went back to his room. That's all. You got it? Okay. So Sue was very concerned about her friend. And she said everything to Balaam. And Balaam, you see, he was a very concerned. Okay. He got some empathy. So that's why he just came all the way from his room just to check whether everything was okay with Chauncey or not. You got it? Okay, yes. So let us see the next morning. Okay, the next morning. Chauncey woke up next morning. In a feeble voice, she asked Sue to draw the curtains. Okay, so the Chauncey next morning, Chauncey woke up and in a feeble voice, feeble means weak. She was suffering. She was sick, isn't it? So in a feeble voice, she asked Sue to draw the curtain. She wanted to see the leaves, and she told Sue to draw the curtain. Now, if you were Sue, how would you react? Okay, you you are already worried, okay, about the leaf. If you see leaf, it's very good. If you didn't see any leaf, then it means she would die. Okay, so Sue was nervous. She was nervous. Okay, so what did do? She drew back the curtain, very reluctant. All the reluctant mean without any interest, right? She was not interested in opening. So, but since she was told by her friend, she just drew back the curtain. Okay, now let us see, okay, whether there was a leaf or not. And you remember there was only one leaf, and that too, there was a strong rain, and the wind was blowing. And let us see, okay, yes. Oh, Sue exclaimed as she looked at the vine creeper. Look, there is still one leaf on the creeper. It looks quite green and healthy. In spite of the storm and the fierce wind, it didn't fall. Okay, yes, so that was a very good thing. So Sue exclaimed. She was surprised to see, which we see, there was a leaf. The leaf had not fallen. Okay, that lone, there was only one leaf, and that leaf was green and healthy. It was not a weak leaf. It was very green. It was healthy. Okay, yes. So, in spite of the storm and the fierce wind, it did not fall. She was surprised to see. Okay, because of the storm and the fierce wind, actually the leaves should have fallen down. But that leaf was green and healthy, and it did not fall. She was surprised. She exclaimed with joy. Okay, yes. I heard the wind last night, said Johnsy. And Johnsy said that, yes, I had heard the wind last night. It was very strong. And I thought that the leaf would have fallen. Okay, yes. I thought it had fallen. It will surely fall today. Then I will die. So she expected the leaf to fall, but the leaf had not fallen. And she said that it would surely fall today. Then I will die. So you see, there was no which we say hope of staying alive in Johnsy's which we say mind, isn't it? She was not ready to live. She wanted to die. Okay, yes, she was waiting for her own death. You won't die, said Sue energetically. Sue was concerned about. Sue did not want her friend to die, and she was all the time encouraging her, giving some motivation. Okay, you have to live for your friends. What would happen to me if you die? So she was telling her friend that even if she wanted to die, she has to live for her friend. Okay, that what would happen to me if you die? She was also, telling Johnson that what would happen to her if she died. Okay, now that's very true, isn't it? There are so many things. You cannot be so selfish if you are not, if you are fed up with your life and you want to die. Okay, you have to also think about all the people who love you. There are so many people who love you, who pray for you, who are concerned about you. You have to think about all these things. And you have to have a second thought. It's not easy for you to be selfish. So the same thing Sue was telling her, not to, die. Okay, yes. So that's the thing. Okay, move on to the next. Johnsy smiled weakly and closed her eyes. So Johnsy, she smiled and closed her eyes. She was weak and she smiled weakly and then she closed her eyes. Okay, every hour or so she would look out of the window and find the leaf still there. It seemed to be clinging to the creeper. Okay, yes. So her eyes are closed, but every hour she used to look out through the window and then she saw the leaf still hanging there. Okay, it seems to be clinging to the creeper. Okay, the leaf was clinging, means hanging on to the creeper. So that's why the leaf was able to stay there for long and survive the rain and the wind. Okay, yes. In the evening, there was another storm, but the leaf did not fall. So in the evening, there was another storm. And what about the leaf? The leaf did not fall. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at the leaf looking at the leaf. Then she called out to Sue. Okay, yes, John C. Lay, she was just waiting for the last leaf to fall. She wanted to die. Okay, so she had already told which is her friend that when the last leaf fall, then she would die. So if the leaf did not fall, then she should not die. Okay, so that was what she had already said. So she was waiting for the last leaf to fall, but the problem was the leaf was not falling. Okay, the leaf looked green and healthy, and it survived all the rain and thunder and storm and wind and all these things. Okay, yes. So finally, then she called out to Sue. Okay, yes. Now suddenly John C. called out to Sue. Okay, called out to Sue. Now let us see what Johnson would say. Okay, Johnson called Sue. There must be something she wanted to say. What was that? What was going on? Okay, yes. So, I have been a bad girl. You have looked after me so lovingly, and I have not cooperated with you. I have been depressed and gloomy. The last leaf had shown me how wicked I have been. I realized that it is a sin to want to die. So John C. called Sue, and she just, what should I say, confess. She just said that she had been a bad girl. She realized, and then she just finally, what should I say, said that she had been a bad girl. She knew that which Sue had been looking after her so lovingly, but she did not cooperate that much. Okay, so she was just regretting. She might have retrospected. Okay, and she might have gone through what she had been doing all these things, and finally she regretted and she realized that it was a big mistake. Okay, and she said that she had been depressed and gloomy. So depressed, okay, whenever you are feeling down, okay, we say it's a depression. So it's a depression. So in this very fast paced world, okay, there are so many cases of depression even among the youngsters. Okay, there will be so many cases of depression because of there are so many pressure from peer, pressure from the society, or personal problem. There are so many things. Now some people, because of too much, what should I say, pressure, they become depressed. Okay, they suffer depression, and in extreme cases people also take life. Okay, and they try to, they tend to lose interest in life. So the same thing was happening with the John C, isn't it? She was undergoing depression. There may be so many problems which she did not want to say. Okay, so in our life we will come across so many, not everybody has a problem. Okay, so whenever you come across any problem, you have to try to think broadly. Okay, yes, you have to think about all the people who have undergone so many suffering, so many problems, and you are also having that thing. So time is a great healer. Okay, you have to overcome all these things, and in the course of time, then everything will be okay. So you should not take any bad steps, a fast solution like this. Okay, yes. So the last leaf has shown me how wicked I have been. So the last wicked, okay, I mean the last leaf had she said the last leaf had shown her how wicked she had been. Very true. Okay, the last leaf, although she was waiting for that last leaf to fall down, but the last leaf, that leaf was strong. That leaf had, had the courage to face all the wind and the rain and survive all this, problem, isn't it? But look at John C. Just because of pneumonia and just because of some problem, she was not interested in living her life. Okay, although she has got a very kind and faithful friend who was always looking after her, but she did not cooperate that much. So that's why she realized everything. She was not, cooperating. So this is how, what should I say, she realized that it was very wicked act of her. Okay, I've realized that it is sin to want to die. So if you try to take your own life, okay, then it's a sin. Okay, yes. So if you die naturally, if you have a natural death, it's that happens to everybody. We all have to die one day, isn't it? But if you try to kill yourself, okay, then it is one of the biggest sin. Okay, yes. So she realized it was a sin to want to die. So do you see some transformation in her? She was able to change. Now, in the beginning, she was not interested. Now she got some courage. She was able to, what should I say, realize her mistake, and there was some kind of hope in her, isn't it? So, where did she get all this hope? She got all this hope from that last leaf which did not fall. Okay, there must be very special, which we say, thing about that leaf. How come that single leaf did not fall? Okay, you see, 100 other leaves had fallen because of the wind and the rain, but there was one single leaf, the last leaf. If that leaf fall, she would die. But how come that leaf stay? Brave all the, what should we say, obstacle. Okay, yes. Now let us see. So Sue was very glad. Okay, there was some kind of a change in her friend. She was showing some kind of interest in living her life. She, what should I say, she confessed all her mistakes and she said sorry to her friend. So Sue obviously would be very happy. So she hugged Johnsy. Okay, and then she gave her lots of hot soup and mirror. Johnsy combed her hair and smiled brightly. In the afternoon, doctor came. After examining his patient, he told Sue, Johnsy now has the will to live. I'm confident she will recover soon. Now I must go downstairs and see Behrman. He is also suffering from pneumonia, but I'm afraid there is no hope for him. So it was a very good news for Sue because her friend started showing interest in her life. Okay, and then she hugged and she started giving her hot soap, which we see John C. accepted, and then she started combing her hair, and they both were very happy, isn't it? So in the afternoon, the doctor came. You see, the doctor was coming every day. So after examining the patient, which the doctor told Sue, okay, in the beginning, you remember doctor telling Sue. Now this time, what was the doctor telling Sue? Doctor was saying, John C. now has the will to live. I'm confident that she will recover soon. So the doctor was surprised to see a drastic change in her. She was, which is, she has got the will, she has got the interest to live. She did not want to die, isn't it? So the doctor said that now she will recover soon. So, which is along with the medicine, it is very important for you to have that which is interest, that faith in yourself to stay, isn't it? Since it was there, so the doctor was confident that she will recover in very soon. But now there was one problem. The problem was now I must go downstairs to see Badman. So what was wrong with Behrman? Do you remember Behrman? He was a very kind, he was very concerned. Okay, now he was also suffering from pneumonia. Okay, yes, the same disease that John C. was suffering from. But I'm afraid there is no hope for him. So here we have John C., who suffered from pneumonia. She was recovering. But on the other hand, we have Behrman. Now he was also suffering, but there was no hope for him to recover because he was old man. You see? Okay, yes. Now what was wrong with Berman? Do you know? Okay, Baron was also suffering from pneumonia. And what kind of disease is pneumonia? Pneumonia is a disease which can attack your respiratory, which is the tracts. For example, the lungs. It will attack lung and it will make you difficult to take your breath. Okay, yes. So Baron was serious. Okay, yes. Now let us see. The next morning, Sue came and sat on Johnson's bed. taking Johnson's hand in hers, she said. Okay, the next morning, Sue came to Johnson's room and she sat beside Johnson's bed, and she took Johnson's hand in her and she said. Now, what did she say? She said, I have something to tell you. Mr. Behrman died of pneumonia this morning. Okay, so it was a very sad news, isn't it? She came to say that Mr. Behrman died because of pneumonia this morning. He was ill for only 2 days. So you see, Johnsy was suffering from pneumonia for so many days and still she survived. But as far as Mr. Behrman was concerned, he was ill for only 2 days. And within 2 days, he died because of pneumonia, isn't it? So, the first day, the janitor found him on his bed. Okay, so janitor is the person who takes care of the whole building. Okay, so janitor knows everything about the people who stay in the building. So the janitor found on the first day, he found, Mr. Barham on his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet. Okay, the clothes and shoes were wet, and he was shivering during that time. She was shivering. He had been out in that stormy night. So that night, what did Barron do? Barron might have gone out in spite of the stormy night. So because of that, his clothes were wet, his shoes were wet, and she was shivering. It was very cool, you know. It's what month was it? It was November, remember? So it was very cold. So, what should I say? The janitor found his clothes wet, shoes wet, and she was shivering, and he had just gone out in the stormy night. What made him to go on the stormy night? Unless we have got some important, urgent work, we will not go away in the stormy night, especially in the month of November. Okay, what was there? What was that? So what made, what should I say, Behrman to go out in the stormy night? Do you remember? Is there anything happen? Now let us see. Then they found a ladder and a lantern still lighted lying near his bed. Okay, so just next to his bed, what did janitor find? Janitor found a ladder. You know ladder? Okay, yes, and a lantern. So when do we use lantern? We used lantern in the dark. Okay, yes, the lantern was still lighted. Okay, it was still fresh, and there was a ladder. Okay, when do we use ladder? We use ladder when we, what should I say, try to go to a place which is beyond our reach. Okay, yes. So there were also some brushes and green and yellow paint on the floor near the ladder. Okay, so what are the things? Okay, they found brushes and the green and yellow paint. Okay, now where do we use these brushes and green and yellow paint? Okay, do you get some idea? Okay, yes. So on the floor, and then what should I say? What did Sue say? Sue said, "John C. dear," said Sue, "look out of the window. Look at that ivy leaf. Haven't you wondered why it doesn't flutter when the wind blows? That's Barron's masterpiece. He painted it the night the last leaf fell." You see? So did you understand? Okay. So I told you, O. Henry used to write a story which has got some, what should I say, surprising ending. Okay, which has got some suspense in the end. Okay, did you get the suspense here? Okay, yes. So Sue said that the leaf which was still hanging there, it was not the real leaf. The real leaf, we all know, would fall down, okay, because there was lots and lots of rain and there was a strong wind. The leaf had already, what should I say, fallen, okay. So we knew that if the leaf would fall, then John C. would die, okay. So do you remember the interaction between Sue and Mr. Barron? Mr. Barron, he was very concerned about, what should I say, John C. and Sue, okay. Mr. Barron did not want John C. to die. Okay, yes. So that's why, how will he be able to keep John C. alive? He would be able to keep John C. alive if he was able to, what should I say, keep that leaf without falling, isn't it? So was there any chance? Yes, there was chance. He was a great painter, so he started, which is a painting. He started making a leaf which looked same as the actual leaf. Okay, so on that stormy night, he just went out. He took the ladder, he took the lantern, and spent whole, which is a night painting the leaf, and then he stuck that leaf. Okay, yes. So actually, the actual leaf had already fallen. Okay, so he tried to make a leaf which looked exactly like the previous leaf. Okay, yes. So here I want to tell you, which is there was one dream of Mr. Barham. Do you remember what was the dream? His dream was to create a masterpiece. So actually, there wasn't any better masterpiece like this. Okay, that leaf, the last leaf was his best masterpiece. Why? Because that leaf had given a new life to, which is John C. Because of that leaf, it has given a new hope, life to John C. A one person, isn't it? He sacrificed his life, okay, in order to, which is bring hope to that person. Did you understand? Okay, yes. So that leaf was not the real leaf. The real leaf would never, what should I say, gonna face all the rain and the, what should I say, that storm. Okay, so that leaf was a masterpiece. Even Chauncey could not identify the real leaf and the fake leaf, which was, what should I say, painted by Barham. Did you understand? Now, did you understand the story? Yes, it's about a friend, Sue and John C. Sue was a very faithful friend, and we have got Mr. Barham. He was very kind, he was very concerned, and look at the sacrifice he had made. Okay, yes. Now, this is the story, The Last Leaf. So, in the beginning, I told you the title, you just try to see why the title is The Last Leaf. So everything revolves around the last leaf. Okay, yes. So last leaf was the masterpiece. So Barham was able to achieve his dream, not in living, but after his death, he was able to create that masterpiece. Okay, yes. So I'm sure you have enjoyed this story. After reading this, I want you to go through all the exercises, and if you get time, you can also translate that story into Tibetan. Okay, if you get time. So this much today. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you. Take care.